Welcome to For Why. I'm Shania.
And I'm Julie, and today we're talking about race and immigrants in our home countries.
So Julie, who are you? Where are you from?
Oh my god, deep question. I grew up and was born in Luxembourg, the really small country between Belgium, France and Germany, 500,000 people. And I traveled a lot but never lived anywhere else until I came to London to study at Brunel University, where I met Shania. And even though we're pretty different for when you look at us or when you know about our backgrounds, we get along amazingly. We always have great conversations, and this is what this podcast is about, basically.
So what would you say would be our main difference?
If you think, like, just from looking at us, obviously we have different skin colors for people who don't know. I'm as white as you can be.
And I'm black.
That
was so cringe.
Yeah. Then it's very different. My family is upper middle class, I would say. We don't have to worry about financial anything.
Is that Luxembourg in general? Like, are you all relatively middle class people? Like, is everybody in Luxembourg just living their best life?
People would say that because Luxembourg's like, they say it's a rich country, but there's poor people there as well. But of course, if you're poor in Luxembourg, you would be rich somewhere else, if that makes sense. So, everything's expensive. Groceries are expensive. No, gas is cheap, but the rest is all expensive. It's like London, but as a whole country.
Yeah.
But then Luxembourg is just as big as London. Like, it's tiny. And then it's only 500,000 people, so we have to keep that in mind. Yeah.
That is very tiny.
Yeah. It's very different to where Shania grew up.
Yeah, so I grew up in Croydon. People say it's the ghetto. It's not the ghetto. It's not that bad. South East London is not as bad as people make it out to be. Yeah, there's things that may happen, but it's not that bad.
When we were in first year of uni, when Shania used to say that she's from Croydon, all the people that were from London...
Oh my gosh, what? Croydon? Oh my god.
They'd be so scared for Shania. They'd be like, oh my god.
It's like, it's not that deep. I'm a skinny, fragile little girl. Like, there's nothing that happens
Where do you
Croydon.
think the stereotype comes from? That Croydon's so dangerous.
There's a lot of gangs, I guess. I don't know, because when you're around it, you don't really witness or, like, pay attention to what people emphasize about it. Mm-hmm. So when I walk in the streets, I'm like, it's just another day. But I guess people are just afraid of the stabbings and the crimes that happen.
But do you think it's more than in other parts of London?
No.
Okay.
No.
So where does that come from? That's just... Because here in Uxbridge, where we are right now, there's a lot of stabbings and ambulances.
But there's also a lot of white people and elderly people who live here. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like... those oversaturate what is going on.
So I think it's because Croydon is overly a black community.
Yeah, it's very populated with just being black and everything.
And you think people that see an overly black community think that it's going to be an overly dangerous community? 100%. Oh.
And like North London is not as bad as where Croydon is, but because, I don't know, maybe it's because we have trams. I don't know. That's a thing.
Tram's actually so good for the environment.
It's so convenient. Oh my god. It's the best mode of transport, but I don't know.
So you get that a lot when you say that you're from Croydon, that...
They're like, oh my god. Huh.
Do they think you are in a gang or something?
No, because they hear my voice and they're like, nah, she's not about it. To be fair, I get stereotyped with all different type of things, so...
Did you have a lot of white people in your schools growing up, or is it like...
No, there was... Okay, so in my primary school, it was very mixed. Mm-hmm. But in my secondary school, it was very, like, it was only 20 white people.
Oh my god.
We counted, me and my friend, was like, how many actually are here?
Do you think that's, like, the opposite of how it usually is?
Yeah, 100%.
Because, like, in my high school, there was, like...
None?
No, it wasn't none, but it was, like, 3 in my year, for example. And then in my year, that's, like, 7 classes of 25 people each.
That's mad.
Yeah.
That's actually really mad. I didn't know that.
But then in Luxembourg, if anyone from Luxembourg is listening, I'm not an expert on this. This is my opinion. I'm not trying to present facts.
Nobody knows but us. Our perspective.
I just want to say this. This is all opinions. Like, we're not trying to present actual factual
Yeah, from people from Croydon, please don't come for me. I'm really just...
Anyway, in Luxembourg, I would say there's, like, maybe 5 to 10% black people. Like, it's really not a big... It's not as, like, in England or in France where there's a lot of black people.
How are they treated?
I don't know from experience. People in Luxembourg love to say that they're not racist, but it's like they are all low-key racist. Like the older people, for sure.
Yeah.
As younger people, I wouldn't say because we're more
woke about it.
Yeah, I never not made friends with anyone because they didn't look like me. If that makes sense. Yeah. For me, it was just everyone was like just a schoolmate. Yeah. But I feel like the older generation, like I don't want to say it, but my grandma used to call them by the N-word. but it's different. The thing is, in Luxembourgish or German, it's different than in English. In English, it has more of a...
I know what you mean. Was it the hard R or was it Negro?
Yeah, that, but then in English, in Luxembourgish or German.
Okay.
But still, I was like, you can't say that. And she'd be like, we always called them that, so we're going to continue calling them that. And I was like...
Oh, people be about that, though. They really do. Like, my nana is so homophobic, but she will not admit that she is. She's like...
Are you not like, oh, it's just old people, and then you just let them? Like, I don't know. I mean,
it depends on who you are. Like, I feel like old people should... I don't know.
I always say you're not supposed to say it.
Yeah, you're meant to make them conscious about it, but I'm not going to punch an old lady in her face.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not starting a fight.
Yeah,
if it's someone my age, I'm going to start a fight. Yeah. Yeah.
Because you should know better. Yeah. And really, old people should know better, but they're old.
But I tell them, but then I'm not forcing anything.
Yeah,
because I feel like it's too much. Like, respect your elders.
I'm just like, you're going to die soon. I don't really care. It's just okay.
But then those people can still vote.
They can still vote, but again, we're gonna die soon. So the world's gonna be better off soon.
Yeah.
You know, and that's okay. Not saying that your grandma or my nana's gonna die from their racist and homophobic comments. But I'm not gonna punch my nana in the face.
But I would feel like in Luxembourg, it's very much you are not openly racist, but a lot of hidden racism.
It's insidious.
I would say.
Do you think it's different in Luxembourg compared to how it is in Britain? The racist.
Well, I have to say, in Britain, there's more... When I came to Brunel, there was... there's a big Muslim community. Yeah. And then a big black community, I would say. And a big Asian community, like Chinese people coming... Chinese students coming from China. Yeah. Not ones that actually lived in England, but yeah. So it's very diverse in Brunel, which is cool, I think.
Yeah.
So I've never had that big of a diverse community, because in Luxembourg we are predominantly white, and then we don't have that many Muslim people, and then we almost never have Muslim people that wear headscarves, because state and the church is separated in Luxembourg, so the schools are not, like, you're not allowed to wear that.
Yeah.
So it's like in France, if anyone knows, like, it's a big topic there as well. So here I know here would be the biggest controversy, but it's kind of normal in Luxembourg that you're not allowed, because school is separated from church, so you can't show, like, wouldn't be able to wear a Christian cross into school, basically.
Okay, so it's not segregated necessarily, but it's still
maybe someone wants to correct me on this from Luxembourg, but that's what I got told. Again, this is just what I think. I'm not sure if it's actually true.
Like the next, but like, been there for like 3 years.
You don't see people wearing headscarves. You don't see people wearing burqas. How do you say it? Yeah. Here in the UK, it's very different. Like.
Yeah, because I went to a Christian school, like, to be honest, it was very problematic. I went to St. Andrews. Not shouting it out. It's closed down now, but let's see. Yeah, we had a lot of Muslim people there, and they could wear hijabs. Anything.
Yeah, it's very different here. But then, like, when you get on the bus here in the UK, well, I had an instance. The bus was full of people, and there was this woman wearing a burqa, but the ones where you can just see... No, the eyes has, like, the little filter thingy over it.
Oh, okay.
So it was completely covered. And I was like, I don't want to say this is crazy, but I was like, imagine she, like, grabs your purse or not. Not that Muslim people steal more from the other, but you could not, like...
Identify her, necessarily.
Not at all. And I think that's the point that...
They're making...
In other places.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, they're just living there... Like, who has a problem with actual headscarves? Like, other people wear hats, do you know what I mean?
It's because it's like, people have think they have a prerogative to be like, I want to see your hair. Yeah. If I can't see your hair,
I don't care about that. It's more the ones that are completely covered. I'm like, I could not tell.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, they're just living their life.
They're just trying to live in modesty and peace. Leave them alone.
So I don't really care. But I was just thinking about it, if that happens.
Fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
But I actually don't care. But
Yeah.
I was just like making a...
It's trying to see where it's people think it's justified
exactly,
in different areas. That's fair enough. But no, everybody has a problem with a headscarf, and I'm just like, let it go. It's not that serious.
But people wear hats. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
No, but like no one would say you wear a hat. Like that's annoying me. People love to say because it's a religious piece. I would say
it's annoying you. But if I had like a massive crucifix around my neck, no one's gonna be.
People wear crosses all the time as jewelry.
Yeah, they do, but it's like little.
Yeah.
They're gonna have like a thick one, like with beads and shit, like all over.
God.
Like it's very intense.
Wait, did you grow up Christian as well then?
Yeah.
Okay, me too.
So, but I can't tell you which one. Like the Pentecostal, I guess.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mine's Catholic. Cause
Yeah.
That's what should we... Oh, do you think here in the UK, we should talk about immigrants a bit? Like, do you think black people are often still seen as immigrants, even though there's been generations that lived here? Or do you think English people are more like, oh, where in England did you grow up? Or do they still ask, like, where are you from? As, like, outside of the UK?
I always everybody gets where you're from, but I feel like that's just a common icebreaker here. It's like, oh, where you from? Like,
but do you think when they ask that, they mean where in England or where?
Oh no, of course not. It's not where in England. And sometimes I take the piss.
Croydon.
Like, I was born in London. They're like, no, but like where? And I'm like, what do you mean where? In Croydon, Mayday Hospital. No, but like, where you from? My mum. My mother's womb.
But you are from England. Like,
I
you're
am.
English,
I'm
like...
born and raised in England.
Yeah.
So I don't get it. But they're like, no. Like, where are your parents from? Like, my mum's born in England. Now what? Like, where do you want to go from here? And they're like, no. Like, they don't know the word ethnicity. I really gathered that. They don't know what ethnicity means. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm from here. It's not that serious. And they're like, oh my God, you're exotic.
I hate that word.
I am not a monkey in the zoo. I don't know what you mean by exotic. I'm not one of those things where you could just stare at me and be like, oh my God, you're different. Like, no. Sorry.
What about your parents? Do they get treated as, like, citizens? Or do you notice that they get treated as outsiders?
So... my mum, she got called a Paki the other day, and she's from Barbados, so it makes no sense. People don't really... I can only speak from my experience and what people around me experience. You'll get that random racist person that'll be like, go back to your country. I feel like it's mostly goes to Polish people.
Yeah, right now, right?
Right now, it's like mostly focused on Polish people.
But do you feel like that changed because more... like, that's the new... I don't want to say new wave, like it was like Caribbean people that came to the UK, and then it was like Indian people, or maybe at the same time actually, or before. I'm not sure.
Afterwards,
I'm not a history major. I'm so
history
sorry.
Like that.
Anyway, but there was like
cut it.
different wave of immigrants, let's say.
Yeah.
And then do you think every time a new wave comes in, that the old ones like more accepted as actually?
We're never gonna be accepted, but it's more like, oh yeah, the blacks have been here forever, so. You know, we're used to them, and now the Polish
Indians,
has come.
I feel like,
the Indians will come, whatever, and now the Polish will come. They're taking our job.
Yeah, it's always the Polish are taking our job.
Story time.
Oh my God.
I was at work, and they decided.
She works at.
I work at. It's £9.55. Don't judge me.
Saint is a supermarket for if anyone from Luxembourg is listening.
Is it? Oh, they don't have. Okay, you guys.
We don't have. We have our own ones.
Oh,
yeah, the UK is not like that. They don't like export supermarkets.
There's Lidl's in places, right?
Lidl is German.
Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah, okay, whatever. Okay, go on.
So, I was at work, we're here dilly-dallying. And for some reason, they were like, oh yeah, did you vote for Brexit? Because that was a good conversation to bring at work. Never a good conversation.
Oh my God.
And this girl, who's 22, no, actually she's my age, fuck, she's 21. And she was like, I want to vote for Brexit because...
Oh no.
Because the Polish people are taking our jobs and they're taking our houses.
Is she like British?
She's like so white girl, British white girl, like fake tan, overlines her lips, everything.
Not
like
to stereotype anyone, but just to get an image.
But
don't cancel us. Oh my God.
Cancel us if you need to. That's just that's it. Her name's. No, she's
oh
the
my
basics of basics. Oh my God.
Yeah, so she probably grew up in like a very British household.
She grew up in she's from Sutton, so I work in Sutton. So that's like very like middle class.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're not middle class, but they think they're middle class.
Oh yeah, okay.
Because they're like the outskirts of London.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, yeah, we're bougie.
Mm-hmm.
We're not. They're not.
Yeah, a bit like suburbs.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
suburb vibes.
but it's not.
Yeah, okay.
And she was like, yeah, they're taking our jobs, they're taking our houses. My sister, she wants to have a house to live in with her kid, and she can't get one. Does your sister work? No. So what's your problem? Do you have a big enough house for your sister and her kid, and your mum's looking after her?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so what's your problem?
Oh my god.
What is the actual problem? It's just because you don't want free housing to go to Polish people, or for them to buy houses that are relatively cheap, so that your sister can move into a council flat for free.
It's just, people love to complain. I feel like this is an Western world experience. In every Western country, this is an experience everyone has. Well, everyone that is not against immigrants understands. People love to say they're taking our jobs, but the people that say that don't want to do the jobs that the immigrants
100%.
supposedly are taking away.
100%. Like,
I don't see you being a housekeeper or like
a cleaner.
A cleaner.
You're not cleaning people's toilets for free. Well, for less money.
Yeah, for minimum wage.
For minimum wage.
Like,
you're not going to be wiping people's butts in
so if
hospitals.
these people are doing it, just be grateful.
Exactly.
They're cleaning up your shit.
Shut up.
You wouldn't do it.
You wouldn't.
No,
You don't even go
people in
visit your
Luxembourg
nan.
love to complain about like foreign workers coming in and taking jobs, but they don't want to do the jobs. That's
No
the
one
joke.
wants to do it. That's the gag.
I feel like in every Western country, people love to say that.
Like, oh my god, like, it's not that serious. You're never gonna do it. Ever. Wow.
Yeah, these people are doing the low class jobs.
Yeah.
And even though they should be paid more, like cleaners should be paid so
They
much.
really should be paid so much more.
Yeah.
Imagine you're going to work and you're cleaning shit for like 12
Yeah,
hours.
and then people have the audacity to say like, you're taking away the job I wanted. Oh yeah, you wanted to be a cleaner so bad.
Go off.
Oh my god.
Go off.
And even if they take like more high paid jobs or like
So be it.
manager
They'll probably grind
positions, like maybe they were just better than you.
it. Yeah.
Just
maybe. Just maybe. They were more qualified.
Doesn't like
Than
just
you.
because they were like, Poland is not like a third world
Well,
country with no
yeah.
education.
Like, they just like, oh yeah. I can't stand. Do you know what? I just can't stand people.
English people love to hate on people that don't speak English that well, but then they only speak one language. I'm just saying.
She exposed us. Oh my god. The gag is, we really spend like 3 years, unless you do it for GCSEs or sixth form. We spend 3 years learning French and Spanish. And one of you tell me a sentence. I really don't understand. I can really
This is like
just say
Dora the
bonjour.
Explorer. Say some Spanish with me right now.
I can't even.
Yeah, people like, because these Polish people, they are learning a whole different language to work in a different country to have a better life, and you're really like, go back to your country and you're taking my job.
You can't speak English. Learn how to speak. The gag is, learn how to speak English. I was born here. I know how to speak English eloquently.
Oh my god.
That somebody's actually said that to me.
No way.
Yeah, learn how to speak
But
English.
you speak such proper English.
I speak very proper English.
You don't even have like a London
twang.
accent or slang or
a
whatever.
little bit.
Well,
Slightly.
sometimes when we like.
And when
yeah.
I'm angry.
Sometimes one of the slang words slips out to me.
Yeah,
like
a few times here and there.
And I'm like, I don't even
Know
live
what
in
this
London.
means.
Like, I've been here for 3 years. Where's the slang coming from? This is so unnecessary.
It's true.
Yeah. I feel like we have the same issue in Luxembourg, though.
Who are the immigrants or foreigners, quote unquote, in
Well,
your country?
in Luxembourg it's a bit. So we had Italian workers coming in. This is like ages ago.
Yeah.
And then Portuguese people come in a lot to work. So half the country is actually not Luxembourgish. They have a different nationality.
Okay.
So loads are Italian, loads are Portuguese. And then the other workers we have are German, Belgium or French people. But they come in every day, work and then drive back.
Yeah.
They don't, like, most of them don't live in Luxembourg.
Okay.
But so we have the same thing. Well, Luxembourg, as you know, only half the country speak. Well, not a lot of people speak it.
Yeah.
Except the people that live there.
So how many languages are there?
So we speak Luxembourgish at home. The people that are Luxembourgish from their nationality. Then we learn German, French, and English in school.
Yeah.
Then loads of people can speak Portuguese, obviously, because they speak that at home.
Yeah.
Or Italian. Well, for people that are Luxembourgish grew up Luxembourgish fully. We watch TV mostly in German.
Okay.
So that's where we get like good German
Yeah.
language from. But people that work in Luxembourg, because loads of them are Belgium or French, so they speak French to us. Luxembourgish people love to get angry about that they don't know Luxembourgish. But I'm like, why would these people... I know they're coming into our country to work, but we can speak those languages.
Yeah.
And
it's not that complicated.
There's no purpose for them to learn Luxembourgish because no one speaks it in the world. It's just how it is.
Yeah, it's just in that.
Like, I don't want the Luxembourgish language to die.
Yeah.
Like, it's good that at home you still speak it. They do it sometimes in school, like in primary school, they teach you a little bit. But I don't see the point in people that come to work from 9 to 5 learning a language that they will never use again.
Yeah. Is it informal or is it there two, like, do you have an informal way of speaking it, or is it just all informal?
The thing is, like, the young people, we speak the 4 languages in one. It's very weird. So we just speak Luxembourgish, and then you have some words that work better in English or in German or in French, so you just use that word. So everyone knows the 4 languages, so that's what the youth culture, like how they speak, has become. Like, the slang is everything mashed up from the 4 languages.
Yeah.
But when you speak to your parents, it's usually all, like, Luxembourgish, proper Luxembourgish. But, yeah, so people love to use that in Luxembourg as well. Like, you don't know Luxembourgish, but it's even more stupid than English. Because at least English you can use almost everywhere in the world. Like, there will always be one person that...
That's why English people just refuse to learn anything else.
Also that,
so, like, wherever I go, there's going to be English
I feel like
people.
if you know Spanish and English, you'll be fine all over the world.
Yeah, I don't know Spanish, so tea.
Well, to be fair, in China, no one speak, like, they don't like speak. Well, it's really hard for them to learn English, let's be real.
Yeah.
Because it's so different. So maybe, like, Chinese, Spanish, and English.
Well, what, Cantonese or Mandarin?
No, Mandarin. Cantonese is the one they just speak in Hong Kong.
Okay.
But yeah, people love to use that in Luxembourg as well. And then old Luxembourgish people treat Portuguese people like they're less than. And I'm like, well, some of them been living here longer than they've been living here like for 3 generations. Like, it's fine. They're Luxembourgish people just like you and me.
Is there a distinctive characteristic and what makes them, like, different? Or
they speak Portuguese, so I feel
is
like
that just the language thing?
So I feel like, but all the children that, like, grew up here, like, even their parents grew up here, let's say, and the grandparents are the one that moved there.
Yeah.
They all learned Luxembourgish, and they speak perfect Luxembourgish. Just when they're at home, they speak Portuguese. And it's like, maybe that's what's bothering, that Luxembourgish people can't understand Portuguese. But I'm like, but who cares? Like, I don't really care. It's like more old people, to be fair.
Yeah. See, old people just have issues in this world. I feel like when all old people
I don't want to say no one in my generation is racist, but I feel
100%.
like it's like a 1% or something.
Do you feel like white people can be inherently racist? So, like, born it like that. That's just the way.
I mean, it really did. When you are raised by a family that's always saying, oh, look at that blah blah person of a different nationality. They're doing the cleaning. They're doing all the, like, lesser work. Look at them. Blah blah. They're poor and they're, like, not qualified for anything or whatever. And you grew up just in that environment. I feel like you're gonna grow up racist. Like, it would take so much on yourself to go out and teach yourself about how not to be racist. That it's hard to change. But then with the internet nowadays, I feel like there's no escaping learning that you're wrong.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but some people just don't want to. Like, I know enough people.
I love people love to live in ignorance.
Yeah, it's easier.
It's so much easier.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wish I could just be ignorant and live in bliss about the world and just say to everyone, no, you're wrong.
Definitely in the last year.
Yeah.
Like, we can talk a bit about Black Lives Matter, how you experienced it here in the UK, like the response to it and how I did in Luxembourg. Because I was, so I went back to Luxembourg in March for lockdown, because my mom was like, you're coming home for lockdown, you're not staying in the UK with Boris Johnson. And I was like, fair.
Yeah. Madman.
But now I'm here, lockdown too, but I'm here. I was like, it's fine.
I mean,
this one is
really
just a month,
too?
apparently.
Yeah, allegedly.
Yeah, so you go first, how you experienced here and the response, like, in your environment.
I was pleasantly surprised on how proactive everybody was. I feel like because racism is different, very different. It's still prevalent, but it's very different compared to America.
Yeah.
That I didn't expect such a response. I guess because of lockdown and just familiarity, it's in your face.
Yeah.
That you can't ignore it.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't protest because I'm vulnerable as hell and I could die. So
Shania has
all the illnesses.
You have asthma, right?
I have very bad asthma.
Yeah.
Undiagnosed, but very bad asthma. And other stuff that makes me prone to illness, so I can't
Did you...
be out there.
Well, I gathered from the UK, because I was very vocal on social media.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's all I was able to do at that point, because there was no protest yet in Luxembourg organized. There was only one. The response I got from some English people was a bit worrying from here, from the UK. They love to say that it's not as bad in the UK as it is in the US.
Because English people love to ignore problems, and they're so up themselves that because nobody's getting murdered, like blatantly murdered, even though there's several cases of murder that happen in the UK, but let's not talk.
Maybe that's better. Maybe the police here is just smarter on hiding it.
They definitely are. Like, the amount of stops and searches we receive, black men receive in our country is mad. But again, we don't carry guns. Maybe if we carry guns, it would be a different situation.
I don't. Yeah, maybe there's less less situations like you saw with George Floyd, like literally on public streets, someone getting choked to death.
Yeah, exactly.
Because English people have more like, they know it's wrong to do it. Like, they know it's wrong what they're doing. They're just gonna perceive as wrong.
Oh, they just love
do it
to
in
be
a more like
yeah, they like to be, oh my god, like things like that is so wrong, but then in closed doors.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. They're not as open.
Yeah.
I feel like America got so comfortable with being openly racist because they used to have a racist president. Well, I don't know about Biden, but at least he's pretending not to be racist.
And their land is literally built on immigrants, but
yeah.
Okay.
But I feel like the overall UK response I got from most white people was that the UK, at least UK, wasn't as bad as the US.
Because they like to say, I don't see colour. Do you know that's the most ignorant thing I've ever heard?
But how do you not see colour? It's very obvious.
It's so very obvious.
To realize. I realize my privilege is different from yours. But you need to realize, otherwise how am I going to help you?
Yeah, how are we going to progress in life if we don't acknowledge the differences we have?
Exactly.
But like this girl I work with, it's always this girl I work with, she was like, yeah, I just see that we're all made of skin and bone. So I don't really get it. Like, I understand why people are protesting.
No, but people mean that in a good way. Like, I know they mean it in a good way. They just don't see the problem with saying that. And you have to tell them.
Yeah, and I'm like...
I told someone and they were like, yeah, I see your point. They think they're saying something
She didn't see it, though.
Oh, okay.
She was just like, I will never treat anybody different on the basis of colour. And I was like, there's no doubt you haven't thought not one black man that walks in the store isn't gonna rob it, or that one of the she literally said to one of her friends about one of our black colleagues that he's a roadman. How do you know that he's
Oh my god, I remember
man?
when you told me that.
Like, how is he a road? He literally works for Sainsbury's.
But some young people just love to say words they don't understand.
They don't understand. It's because he wore a do-rag. Like,
right. Let the man wear, like, let the man
he's
take care of his hair.
He's
like,
really just taking care of his hair.
But
like,
I mean, she doesn't know. I feel like she doesn't even know what the durag's for. Like, what, like, you know, she just thinks, oh, that's what roadmen wear. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I get it, but
she's just not
so
educated.
wrong. But it's like, you don't even have to be educated. Like, you surround yourself with so many black colleagues and all these different things. I feel like you should just be aware of what the difference is.
Some people are just ignorant, as you said.
That's what I'm saying. And it's like, how could you pretend to not be ignorant by saying we're all skin and bones, but then still have these stereotypes and these racial biases that really play against you? The hypocrisy is real.
I feel like, I hope, because before Black Lives Matter happened, I already knew all these things. Like, you know, people were like, educate yourself.
Yeah.
I have to say, I had to, of course I was reading stuff, but for me, everything of, like, this was all clear already.
Yeah.
I consider myself an ally, a white ally, as they say. But
she's the ally of the cause, guys. She's the ally.
No. Non-racist. I like, just, like,
you're very unproblematic person. I've never had, like, an instance of you being like, Julie's a bit, you know, she's done that a bit.
This is when you grow up on Tumblr. That's what happens to you. Oh my god.
He was an emo at one stage.
Oh my god. I don't see colour because everything's dark and in black and white because I'm depressed. Oh my god.
Such a mood, honestly.
No, but I really hope some of these things that I posted and other people posted really did get some people the education they needed.
But people don't love to talk about problems. They just love to.
People hate to hear that they are low-key racist.
Yeah. And it's like, I'm not racist. And it's like, dude,
but I notice it like growing up when it's dark.
Yeah.
And I see a black man coming towards me, I'm scared. But then I'm like, why are you scared? Yeah. It's because it's just how society. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So my first thought is that, and then my second thought is like, no. So I'm constantly re-educating myself because it's so embedded in how you grew up.
Yeah. Which is, you come from a predominantly white place.
It's just how, and I feel like that's also how society just like keeps. Yeah. You even see it in the news when a black man does something, it gets like they dig out all the bad stuff on him, like, and he was arrested for possession of weed. I'm like, okay, but let the man live, like, and then when it's a white person, they're like, oh, but he was A level with like,
oh my god,
great, amazing grades, and he was in Oxford University.
Don't
like,
get
do you know what I mean?
Started. There was, what was it? There was a large presence of Islamophobia. In like 2013,
yeah,
and the same
when all the terrorism like really started,
was hitting them up, and oh my god, you're a terrorist. Everyone was a terrorist, right?
Yeah.
Anyone with brown skin, covered their hair, anything, you're a terrorist. And then a white man went into a church, and he either murdered everybody or blew it up.
Yeah.
But that wasn't a terrorist attack. Oh, he was mentally ill.
Yeah, it's always mentally ill when it's white people, and it's always terrorist when it's Muslim people.
And I'm just like, but it's literally the same thing. Like, the bracket is the same. Why is it different headlines? And it really, really got under my skin. Like,
but that's how the media and society just, that's what I mean. That's how you need to re-educate yourself constantly. Because the society and the media is just pushing other ideas on you the whole time. Like, it does not stop.
Do you think having social media helps that or hinders that?
I feel like, so we have to say, people on social media are like Gen Z and millennials mostly, except Facebook. But we don't use Facebook anymore. Like, Facebook's dead because the boomers took over. And I feel like both the two generations, millennials and Gen Z, we've become quite good at saying, like, look at this like the news and the media, like, it's all bullshit, or like 90% of it. So we created our own sources, basically.
Yeah.
I don't know, when I go on Reddit or on Instagram, I find out news that my mom has never heard of, because she listens to traditional news.
Yeah.
I was like, did you hear about the Muslims in China being in concentration camps? And she was like, no, because they don't speak about it on normal news.
Yeah. Do you think, what is German TV like then?
No, they do, like, now they speak about it because it gained so much traction that they can't, like, but it was happening for years and years and years, and no one reported it because China has so much influence on everything. No, I feel like just traditional news, like BBC,
it's so shit.
and the German TV that's like similar to BBC. I feel like they stay very Eurocentric and West country centric as long as they can. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't care if like there's a genocide in Africa, because they think the audience won't relate to it. But I'm like, I want to know, if I want world news, I want world news.
Exactly.
I just want
like, I
Canada,
subscribe
US,
for something, please give it to me entirely.
So I feel like that's why our generations have created their own news sources, or like, you know, found a way of...
I don't know. I feel like sometimes it helps, and then there's
but I'm constantly depressed.
Yeah.
Because it's always bad news.
Yeah. But then there's people who escape the reality of things by going on social media and living within their ignorance, because there's people who agree with their ignorance.
Yeah.
So it can hinder as well. But
for
I
sure.
get what you mean by like the media.
Yeah, it all depends what you subscribe to, what you follow. Like, this year I unfollowed all like not all of them, but a lot of influencers like Kardashians, like celebrities, and I followed way more like informative accounts on Instagram, because when I open Instagram, I want to get a positive reaction, because when you have all these influencers and celebrities, you get like just bad vibes about yourself. So I feel like it's all how you use social media, because obviously, as you said, you can just follow all these celebrities and dream about having a life like that, but what is that?
I want to make a sex tape and be famous.
I
have motivations and aspirations, so anyway.
I
get what you mean though. Like what you said, like you told your mum a piece of news and she didn't even know. Like, I had to tell my mum that the other day a girl got abducted
Oh yeah,
like,
oh my god, that
around
was
the
so
corner.
crazy, yeah.
And she didn't even know, because it wasn't, and
Yeah.
my mum spends all day watching the news,
Yeah.
like, all day, and she didn't even know.
Yeah.
And it was like, I didn't think it was till the end of the day where it actually appeared on the news when everybody was sharing that piece of information. But black girls, black women get abducted every day.
Yeah.
But they mostly get abducted by white men, so it's not prevalent on the news.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
Yeah.
But do you feel like the Black Lives Matter thing was represented well on, like, traditional news and media?
No, most
Did
of
you
it
watch
was
any
just
news?
like...
I didn't almost. They just. Well, you go first.
Most of it was just like, yeah, these protesters during the pandemic, like,
yeah, it was just
really
like a protest is happening and that's it, right?
Yeah.
That's why, yeah.
They
That's the same
briefly
thing I got.
mentioned George Floyd, and there was so many other people who died in that sequence.
Yeah, they don't
of events,
report
they don't
about the
care.
cause. They just report on the protest.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing for when I was home. In Luxembourg, there was one protest in front of the American embassy, well, the USA embassy, for George Floyd. And some people were saying the same as here, like in Luxembourg it's not a problem. And I'm like, and loads of people came out on social media how they experience racism in Luxembourg. Because it is there, but not, again, not as obvious as in America, but doesn't mean it's not as bad.
Yeah. It's insidious. I feel like insidious racism is so much worse than... No, I take that back. Cut the cameras. No, I take that back. Deadass. I take that back. I feel like insidious racism is just as apparent as violent racism, because it affects us so much on a psychological level.
Because it's not
physically harming you,
But they don't understand. But it's always white people. You don't understand. Or even when it's a black person saying that, maybe they grew up in such a, like, more privileged way than their peers.
Yeah.
So they don't understand sometimes. But because I've met, like, you know, you see comments online that go like, I'm black and I don't have a problem with this. Yeah, but like, but why can't you support your... Do you know what I mean?
I don't want to say anything that would get me cancelled.
No, but I understand if you personally don't have a problem with it, it's fine. But you do not want to be supportive to your community has problems with it.
But I live in Britain, and we didn't actually witness. We don't witness that on a daily basis. Doesn't mean that we don't feel it. Like, it's not even... it's way past empathy at this point. It's literally trauma. Like, I would say that I wouldn't get as much prejudice or discrimination as a regular black person because I look different. Like, I don't look West African. I don't look any...
Yeah, people can't place you.
Yeah, people can't place who I am, so they stereotype me as everything rather than just that, and they don't do it as heavy. But that doesn't mean that I don't feel or experience the same type of trauma and pain that if it happened to somebody else. Like, my brother's black, all my brothers are black, my mum's black, my family's black. So how could I sit there and be like, I don't feel that? Or,
when the whole,
like, I don't get it.
Like, Black Lives Matter thing was happening, I got depressed, literally, because I was like, how are these things still happening? And, like, I was like, it's 2020, I don't understand why we're still, like, how people can be that prejudiced and racist and stuff. And I was like, if you're, as a white girl, are depressed about this, I don't know how black people are feeling, because obviously it relates to you so much more. So I was, like, checking up on Shania, I was checking up on another friend of mine. Shout out to Saren. And because I was like, you need to check up on them, because it's not their, like, if they don't want to speak about it, that's their choice. I feel like as a white person, you don't really have a choice not to speak. Like, you should always try and help. But yeah, just check up on your peers when stuff like this is happening.
I feel like if you acknowledge your power and you acknowledge your privilege, it's a step, but it's not always enough.
Yeah.
Like, just because I can, my friend can be like, yeah, I know that I have white privilege, but then just sit back and ignore the actual crises that happen, then you're a part of the problem. Yeah. I hate when people are like, oh yeah, like, I know that I'm white and I know that I have these things
but
that
you're not
benefit
actively
me,
trying
but you're
to
not
change
actively
anything.
doing anything, no. And I'm not saying post on social media a picture of a black baby crying.
No, that's really not it.
It's really not it.
But yeah, if you are a white person that considers themselves non-racist and you see something on Instagram that could educate your followers that you have. Even if you have like 50 followers, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Even if you're like 10, just post it on your story. Like, it doesn't hurt you, it doesn't hurt anyone.
It literally takes 2 seconds out of your day to spread awareness and to educate the people around you, because knowing you, your mum and your dad probably,
if they say something racist, if they say something homophobic, just say something. You don't have to fight them.
Hey, it's not okay. It's not alright. That's what you have to say.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like if you're gay, if you're a woman, there should be some level of empathy and understanding.
Yeah.
Like, we've all been through the trials and tribulations of cis white men. So we all should have some understanding of pain and trauma.
Especially when you're a cis white man, you should try and better, like, use your privilege, because you're the most privileged out of
anybody.
So you should use that.
And it's okay to be a cis white man, by the way. Like, I hate when people be like, ugh, white men. No, it's okay. I like white men.
I was about to say I'm dating one, but
he's not.
He's only half white. But still, I mean...
And Julie got a little bit of flavour in her.
Oh my god. But yeah, just try educate your surroundings.
Yeah, like, it's really okay
don't
to
be racist.
A white guy. Like, there is nothing wrong with being white. You don't have to feel guilty.
There's nothing wrong with being any skin colour, but...
There's really nothing wrong with it. Like, I really feel like...
Or any nationality, but just be educated.
Like, if you're guilty all the time, then there's really a big problem with you. Like, there's some underlying issues. You shouldn't feel guilt all the time.
No.
Just acknowledge it.
No one's trying to make you feel guilty. Everyone's just trying to educate people on their privilege.
And it's not about segregation either. No one's saying that
Black
power means forget all white people, let's fuck white people, let's fuck every other minority. It's not that.
No. We're just trying to make the world a better place.
Yeah, it's not that hard.
Yeah.
It's really not.
Okay, I feel like we went over a lot.
We
rambled on.
I don't even know how long we went. An hour?
40 minutes.
Oh, nice.
I think it's a good place to stop.
Yeah.
But
thanks for listening.
And see you next week. Hopefully, be back.
Hopefully.
Don't cancel us on anything we said.
I'm gonna blurt out the names that I...
Oh my god!
that I mentioned. So if you hear a beep, I'm so sorry.
Anyway, yeah.
Thanks, bye.
Bye!